hope and our prayers that you all would support our endeavor as we go forward to try and make this thing come to pass, to bring it to our great city of Oroville and Butte County. So at this time, I would like to present our site manager and senior administrative assistant, Ms. Keisha Hills, and she'll take us further.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you again for the opportunity to speak before you. I am coming to, again, ask for your support as the city council members. So again, I'll stick with my notes and we'll go ahead and get started with the presentation. So the name of our organization is Haven of Hope on Wheels. Our mission of Haven of Hope on Wheels is to provide the homeless with access to showers, laundry, and grooming services in the most convenient way possible, which in turn they will be able to seek and hold jobs, make medical appointments, and in general have a personal sense of pride. As we say within our organization, our mobile hygiene unit will offer 3 simple things that we all take for granted. That is an opportunity to take a shower, to do a load of laundry, and to get a haircut. And those things may seem very simple to us, but it is very meaningful for our homeless population. Oh, uh-oh. Okay. So as far as the history of our establishment, Haven of Hope on Wheels is a program that is actually under the umbrella of the Oroville Southside Community Improvement Association. And we are actually a 501c3 nonprofit. OSCIA was founded in 2009 with the focus of helping the underserved with resources, health care, health education, employment and training needs of residents, and their relationship with local government. As just to give you a little bit more information about the history of our establishment, OSCIA has organized yearly events that focus on community cohesion. Again, to give you some examples, we've had the Martin Luther King Day. We've also sponsored an annual Easter egg hunt, as well as a Juneteenth picnic to commemorate the Emancipation Proclamation. And then in 2016, OSCIA was able to acquire the management of the Southside Oroville Community Center. And through this acquirement, we have tremendously turned the center around financially. So that's such a great accomplishment that we really are proud of ourselves for, and really are excited about what we have in store with OSCIA and moving forward with this project. Just to show a few awards and some of our successes, we have received the Certificate of Appreciation through the U.S. Census Bureau, and that was back in 2010. We also received a proclamation of the Anita Bell in our multipurpose room, and that was in 2013. And then in 2009, there, as you can see there on the screen, a very familiar name, we have the City of Oroville that awarded us with a Black History Award. So moving on with why Haven of Hope on Wheels. The homeless lack adequate access to hot showers and laundry facilities, and it is a key reason why many do not seek employment, routine preventative medical care, housing assistance, and other social services for which they are eligible for. Consequently, homeless individuals segregate themselves from mainstream society and suffer the societal stigma associated with poor hygiene. And this is where we come in. Our solution is a mobile hygiene and outreach program called Haven of Hope on Wheels. And again, it's developed and operated by OSCIA. So here's something, I don't want to go too far into the facts, again, for the sake of time, but there is something that I'm sure some of you are possibly familiar with through the Butte County Homeless Continuum of Care. Each year they put together what's called the Homeless Point in Time Census, and they receive statistics within Butte County as far as the number of homeless individuals there are within our county itself. And what they do is they track again, the number of homeless individuals. They get all of these statistics within a 24-hour period. So they gather all of this information, and there were some alarming stats. Again, I'm just gonna, for the sake of time, just share one. Just this last year, they did the point-in-time census, and there were 1,983 individuals experiencing homelessness in January of 2017. This actually marks a 76% increase in homelessness since the last point-in-time census count, which was in 2015. So again, this is an obvious problem that we are definitely aware of. So with Haven of Hope on Wheels, again, it is a mobile shower and laundry program. It's a self-contained unit with a generator and a 600-gallon water tank. We are able to service the homeless where they congregate. So within their encampments, that is where we plan on servicing them. We will also offer comprehensive services with case management. So it's not just a matter, again, of providing the laundry, the showers, but case management as well to follow up with those that we are serving. So with Haven of Hope on Wheels, just to give you some numbers there, we plan on providing showers up to anywhere between 60 to 84 plus people per day. So that would consist of having 2 sessions per day. It would consist of 18,000 to 26,800 per year, and that's operating at full capacity. As far as the laundry, we plan on providing 36 to 72 loads per day. Again, that's at 2 sessions, and 11,000 to 23,000 per year at full capacity. So again, those are just some numbers to show you what we can do with this program. On the next slide, you'll see here that we have potential partners. And so we just wanted to kind of show, the partnerships that we're hoping to collaborate with within this effort. And just to show you on the first slide, these are some of the potential partners that would provide necessary items such as soap, laundry detergent, towels, that sort of thing, clothing and grooming items. On the next slide, we have a list of potential partners that we plan on partnering with local nonprofits that are already serving the homeless population. So this is not just a one-man thing. We realize that it's going to take collaboration with other community organizations, again, that are already serving this population. And the last one, again, is just to show other partners. These are other established partnerships that would be able to actually help with providing services such as case management, job training, and that sort of thing. So on this next picture, or this next slide that you see here, this gentleman, who is the founder of a nonprofit called Dignity on Wheels based out of Silicon Valley, was actually here recently, just this past week, here in Oroville, and he has a similar program. Again, it's called Dignity on Wheels. He was actually able to bring a mobile unit here in Oroville to actually show our community how this program works. And again, his name is Pastor Paul Baines, based out of Silicon Valley. And so it was just really great to be able to have him to come out and share this information. Again, he's a longtime friend also of Kevin Thompson, and he was, again, able to share what it is that they're doing in Silicon Valley and how it could be of a great benefit to our community and our region. So I wanted to share some success stories that they've had with their mobile unit. This is an example of a chronic homeless man who had a severe skin condition, and because he was not able to shower regularly, he began utilizing their Dignity on Wheels services twice weekly, and his condition cleared up. Another success story, a homeless man started utilizing their services, and after taking a shower and washing his clothes, he said, "Now I can go to a job interview." His self-esteem was greatly improved, and he is on the road to self-sufficiency. A few more success stories. A local city council member within the Silicon Valley said that the countenance of the homeless has changed because of Dignity on Wheels. And lastly, a lady began utilizing Dignity on Wheels in Half Moon Bay. One of the case managers approached her and got her on a housing list. And she is now permanently in a permanent supportive housing, thanks again to their program. So again, I just wanted to share just some examples of testimonials of this program and how it's working in their region and what it can do within ours. So a little bit about how the daily operations would work. I just wanted to share that from a clientele basis. So these, again, would be step by step of how it would work. So step one would be that a client would use the Haven of Hope on Wheels services. The next thing that would happen is the staff would clean the facilities after each use. There will be a session closes at that point, and then Haven of Hope on Wheels staff would inspect and clean the trailer and return to the headquarters. And then case managers will follow up with the clients who are utilizing our services. Now, from an administrative operational standpoint, the first step would be that Haven of Hope on Wheels project coordinator would establish host sites and create the schedule. Again, we would plan on going to homeless encampments and those areas where the homeless actually congregate. Then the host site would conduct outreach to get clients for the shower laundry services. The next step would be that the fleet manager would prepare the truck and trailer. The driver and intake specialist would then set up the trailer at the host site and check in with the host site staff. So again, we're working in partnership with those areas that we plan on having our trailer. And lastly, the intake worker would process the client. So that is my presentation. I have listed here some information for those of you, for the city council members, as well as those of you that are here. To find out more information about our program, you can go to our website, which is www.havenofhopeonwheels.org. We are also doing a fundraiser through GoFundMe, which is going really well, and that is gofundme.com/Haven of Hope on Wheels. Thank you for this opportunity.
Thank you. I have a question.
Yeah, we do want to thank you, and I'm kind of excited about this last screen that she put up. That was just this morning. We took this picture, and some generous donor donated $5,000 this morning to the event. So we're so thankful about that. And once again, we're here, and if we can be of any assistance to answering any questions you might have, we'll be glad to do the best we can.
I do have a question in regards to an intake worker, and you made mention, is that like an assessment process for someone that needs brokerage to community resources, medical attention, things of that nature? I'm asking.
Yes, definitely, all of the above.
Right.
So as they're going through the process, again, it's not just to provide the laundry and the showers, but we also want to be able to direct them to different services. It may also include mental health services and things of that sort. So yes, definitely, that would be the actual job description for the intake specialist.
Thank you.
Yeah,
I have a
we might that person would be in the truck or will meet at that site. And what we would do, we'll be using Clarity and Salesforce as far as electronically communicating and inputting all the information so that we'll be able to follow that individual, whoever it may be.
I was just going to ask, how much have you raised so far, and what goal do you have for the amount? We're approaching $10,000. We're getting close to 10,000. We're looking at $104,000 to get the vehicle, the trailer, fully equipped, and the truck, the crew cab flatbed pickup that we would need to put a 600-gallon water tank on the back. So when we go into the encampments or we go to those places that are already receiving services, if it's a county, might have a medical trailer out, we would pull up alongside of them. We won't be going to anyone's businesses, any facilities. We won't impede upon anyone making a living. We won't show up at the Oroville Hospital and other places that there might be some kind of conflict, but we would go to where we're directed with the staff. If that would be the city or the county, we would get directives from them to go to these different places. And I also noticed that the city of Oroville is not listed as a potential partner. Is that accurate? I saw it kind of quickly. I didn't see the city of Oroville. Okay, we need to do something about that. I mean, it's going to have to get on the agenda for another meeting, but yeah, that needs to be remedied.
I'm in agreement. I believe that certainly a letter of support or resolution is definitely needed. So
Yeah.
I will partner with you on that, Councilwoman Draper.
I also think our city logo should be on the
potential partners list.
yes,
yeah.
to show our visual support of this. This is wonderful. Thank you so much for doing it.
Thank you.
Thank
I
you.
agree also, and I have a couple of questions though. The hours of, you said 2 sessions. What does that look like? What's a session? 4 hours, 8 hours? What would that look like?
Exactly, 4 hours. We would have, for a complete day, it'd be roughly a 9-hour shift. Drive time, going to different, sites, and setup time would take an hour or so. So we're looking at 2 4-hour sessions per day.
And as far as the ability, because you'll have a wastewater tank plus the one for the showers, because they're 2 different things. One's toilet, one's showers. At least that's the way it is in my 5th wheel. So do you have a spot already picked out where you can, how long can you go without dumping before you have to, with that many, servicing that many folks?
Yeah, it'll be a 100-gallon tank for the black water, and for the gray water, and I think it's a 60-gallon tank for the black water. And we were so excited. We had a chance to go out and talk with SCORE. And although they don't have this particular apparatus set up at their facility to take on our waters, at some point in time, if it's my understanding that they're going to add that to their facility because of Haven of Hope on Wheels. But we'll be dumping at some of the sites here at the casino, the campsites, using their wells. And also we can hook up to, if we're at a place that has sewer, we have the capabilities to tie into their line with a 30-foot hose as well.
Oh, okay, good. Well, I agree with the other council people. I believe that we should, by all means, support this. And I would wonder if there is a part of our housing that Amy takes care of, because I know that there's a lot of things that are going on now with the homeless and through the state and that, but if there's...
So several comments. One is that this is simply a presentation. We will come back June 5th based on what you've said to officially endorse. And we can ask that, and certainly during our budget discussion, we can see if there's ability to carve out any revenues if council wants to do that at that time.
Okay. All right, thank you.
What else can we do to support you? We can't support you financially, unfortunately, but are there other things that we can do?
Well, we're looking long term. You might not be in a position at this time, but I think going in a relationship when that door do open in other areas, and because you are the city, your ears are, you're hearing many different things, and we just want you to have the heartbeat of what we're trying to do and what we're trying to accomplish for those that underserved, and most often not served at all community, and that being our homeless. As you've seen, there was a 76% increase, and it didn't say that was growing, actually.
It is growing.
So we want to make sure that we do our part, and I'm sure that if we get creative enough, and we just coagulate our efforts together and who we know and what we know, we'll be able to get this first unit up and going here, very quickly. Hopefully.
Thank you.
Do you need other donations besides money, or other help besides?
Yes, some, and some of you that's in this room, you know who you are. We would need socks. We would like to have socks. We would also be giving away flip-flops, for the shower. Also, sweat pants and garments, sweat outfits, cotton, hopefully, and new underclothes.
Thank you so very much. I believe that the council has given direction to the city staff, and we'll proceed from there. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. Yeah.
Our next presentation, we're going to receive an update from Lieutenant Gil Zarate regarding the Oroville Police Department and its operations.
Good evening, Vice Mayor and Council. I'm Bill Legrone. I'm the Police Chief for the City of Oroville. I've asked Lieutenant Zarate tonight, who's the lieutenant in charge of operations, to prepare you a brief update on the status of the Oroville Police Department and some statistics over the past year. Specialist, so I see it. Go ahead, where's your clicker? And I'll just,
All right. So good evening, Madam Vice Mayor.
Could you please speak into the microphone? Thank you.
Yes. Good evening, Vice Mayor and members of council. Gil Zarate, Lieutenant with the Oroville Police Department. Tonight I'm here to give you the update of the Oroville Police Department. What I like to do is also, as far as provide the crime stats. And what I have done is I've provided the last 5 years to show you just kind of a trend that we're noticing. And before I get going on that trend, I'd like to just kind of cover some historical things that have occurred. As we're all aware, the AB 109 that occurred in October of 2011, and that was to cut the inmates in state prison by 137.5% by June of 2013. To, I guess, combat the effect of AB 109, Proposition 47, the Safe Schools proposal, I guess you could say, was passed by the voters in 2014. And what that did basically is it, as a result of AB 109, it eased the crowding of the county jails by basically releasing some of the nonviolent offenders and basically lowering some statutes. Proposition 57, which was also came in effect in November of 2016, allowed basically to increase the parole for some and allowed good behavior credits to occur. So thus in turn, certain people that were supposed to be on state prison, county parole were basically released on probation and such. Another avenue that has affected the Oroville Police Department has also been by the restructuring of the Oroville Police Department and thus reducing the staff.
And I think some of the important things you have to know about Proposition 57 is Proposition 57 changed many of the drug laws in the state of California. What once was felonies are now misdemeanors. Possession of methamphetamine is a misdemeanor. Possession of heroin is a misdemeanor. It changed a lot of laws. It changed a lot of laws too that were considered nonviolent crimes, well, that are violent crimes, to nonviolent crimes. An example of that would be rape by use of intoxicant is now considered a nonviolent crime because of this proposition. So a lot of these things were hidden in there. A lot of folks weren't aware of that, and they voted for that. I think another important thing that our community should be aware of is that all the time while AB 109, Prop 47, and Prop 57 were occurring, another thing was occurring in the state government, and that was the removal of the RDA. The RDA was a large funding source for the city of Oroville and all municipalities. Municipalities use that money to fund programs, to fund operational costs, including the police department. So at the same time, when the law was being changed through AB 109, 47, and 57, on the other side of it, the state was pulling the money out from local municipalities that they could use to address their local issues. The RDA is gone, the money's gone, and that has very much exacerbated this problem, and it has also led to a lot of the financial situations that you're seeing a lot of municipalities have, and it's a big reason for the financial situation that the city of Oroville is suffering.
I'd also like to add that the titles are completely misleading. So Prop 47 Safe Neighborhoods did the opposite, but whoever circulates it gets to put the name on it, or it's, if the legislature, they put the name on it.
So I'll go ahead and move to our next slide here. What I've shown here is our staffing at the department, and I've basically gone from 2013 to 2018. If you notice in 2013, we had roughly 21 officers, but actually we were funded for 26 positions. In 2018, we are now funded for 19.5, and we have 19.5 positions filled. down on the bottom is the MLEs, the municipal law enforcement officers. In 2013, they're referred to as CSOs. In 2015, the program came before council, was approved. By 2016, we're running fully staffed at 8 MLEs. We, for better words, decimated the MLE program when we had several dispatchers basically leave the Oroville Police Department along with several MLEs looking for jobs elsewhere. Right now we have 2 MLEs on staff as of 2018, and we are currently in the process of getting more MLEs hired. I'm gonna go to our incidents here. Our incidents have basically increased from 2013 to 2017, roughly 12%. Is the top one in blue. The middle line, which is our calls for service, has increased 29%. So we're doing 29% more with at least 7 less people. Our officer-involved incidents have gone down, but so has our staffing. And then I have our reports taken right. Our reports have gone up roughly 37% since 2013, and our arrests have fallen 9%. And this is the real dramatic that we've faced here is our felonies have basically stayed the same. There's only been a change, roughly 2%, but overall on the chart, 14% has changed. Where the big dramatic changes occurred is from 2016 to 2017. There's been a 32% reduction in misdemeanor cases that have been taken, and that is actually those are arrests. So what that's basically come of is the officers have still taken as many reports, if not more, but there's less closures. The officers are not able to complete cases that are basically, I guess for better words, they don't have enough time to investigate matters to the fullest.
And how you can really tell if your police department or any agency is being productive, is being really productive. The real test of the matter is your closure rate. What is your closure rate? It's one thing to go take the report, it's another thing to complete the case to its end and make the arrest. The problem that you run into when you have staffing reductions and you have staffing issues that we currently have because of the financial constraints that we're all under is that you don't have that closure rate. What happens is the officer will go out, they'll handle the call, deal with it, settle it down for that minute, do the best that they can, but follow-up is often limited because the next hot call is coming and they go from call to call to call. So we've also had to reduce our investigative staff because our primary purpose is patrol, and we have to send people to patrol to handle those hot situations that are occurring. So our closure rate has declined over the last year. Part of this you see also too is an impact of officers leaving the department. I mean, so you don't have the proactive time, you don't have the bodies out there. So that's part of the reason too why you'll see the decline in the arrest and between misdemeanors and felonies.
I'd like to move on to the local security company. So as I was saying before,
I have a question. Something that the chief just said. So what is the average response time for and I know that all the crimes, they're prioritized, but could you just give me an idea? Robbery in progress, what is the response time?
A robbery in progress would be a Part 1 crime, which Part 1 crimes, our response times are anywhere from 4 to 7 minutes. That's from the 4 to 7 minutes, so everybody understands what we're talking about. It's the time that 911 rings until somebody's on your porch or your front of your business or wherever it is.
All right, so here's my next question. How many officers are there per shift?
Per shift,
Patrol and sergeant.
assigned to each shift is 1 sergeant and 2 patrol officers.
For a city that's how large?
Approximately, we're just under 19,500 citizens.
That's very sobering. Thank you.
and if I just may add a point to that, we are also, as you're aware, we're increasing our Southside annexation, and we'll be taking from Fort Wayne down to Ithaca which will be the remainder of Annexation A, and that'll be effective July 1st.
That was going to be my third question, because I know currently the Sheriff's Department is still assuming a portion of that, and they're continuing to be in a weaning stage.
Correct.
And so I didn't quite catch, what is the effective date for no longer sheriff's boots on the ground?
That is July 1st of 2018.
July 1st.
And that's like I said, it's Fort Wayne south to Ithaca.
Right.
Next year we pick up, which is Area B, and that is Orobanger East all the way through Claremont, and basically the back of the Butewood Estates.
All right. Thank you.
So I have up here, because as we've been discussing, the issue we run into is the quality of life versus the crimes in progress, that the officers sometimes will handle those crimes against person, crimes against first, and then the crimes against property or our quality of life, our transient issues and such may fall farther down in that list. We've also looked into, or I've vetted out 3 local security companies. This may be an option for some businesses or even other entities, but the top 2, Armed Guard Security and Hilton Security, I've provided documentation they've also given me for the council. They have business license. They operate currently in Oroville. The third company, North State Securities, they operate primarily out of the Shasta County area and Tehama County. They are interested in obtaining a business license, and they're in the process of that as of Friday. But they didn't provide me any documentation as far as any recommendations.
How this would work is the city is not hiring security. We are not going to hire any of these. We are looking into these companies to ensure that they are quality companies and don't have complaints from prior customers and things like that. The issue that we've ran into is we hear and we really feel for the people that are having issues at their businesses or wherever it is. This has been applied at the Butte County area government bus stop on Spencer. They are actually using one of these companies to help maintain and secure that area. So they are paying for that there. Rayleigh's is using it. Also across the street at the old Shaw's complex, they're using it over there. Shaw's was an ice cream store here, in case anybody doesn't know what that was. I can't remember the name of the place, but anyway, they're over there as well. So what we can do, because the thing that we can't do is we can't provide the security level of service that the community had asked for, or we've been able to provide in the past. We just don't have the personnel for that. We don't have the time to conduct the ongoing proactive patrols to keep the people from lounging in front of the businesses, and the one business owner reports the person defecating on the business and things like that. Those are serious issues for the community, serious issues for the business person. It's nothing that I want in my town. We both live here, and we don't want to deal with that either or see that. So we thought that the one thing we could do was to point them in the direction of people that can help them, that have the resources, that can go out and provide them that service. So this was part of the solution, to work with them and to provide them options.
Oh, thank you. I'll move on. So the department's recently implemented Narcolon, or it's Narcan is basically the label name, but basically what it is, it's to combat the opioid epidemic we're having. And what this allows officers to do is, one, to use it for their own safety if they become exposed to either heroin or fentanyl, which just a small little grain alone is enough to cause an officer basically to have an adverse action, or any person to have an adverse reaction. But officers have currently been trained with this device on how to utilize it, how to recognize the signs, and then also the implementation. And this was provided us through the Butte County, Health Department.
It was provided at no cost to us, the additional training and support material. We had our in-house paramedic train our officers on this. It's a nasal application. There's no injection or anything like that. If we were to come upon somebody who had suffered an overdose from an opioid and it was determined it was that, this can be applied if medical is delayed or can't get there quickly enough. This could save someone's life.
Yeah. Are we all familiar with this nasal spray? All right.
And the last slide I have for you is currently, well, since 2015, we've been implementing the safe medication disposal. It's been a program that CVS had. Rite Aid also has been involved in it. But we have 3 containers out in front of the police department, and these allow for a citizen anonymously to walk up and they can dispose of their prescription medications. The black box on the right is now we accept syringes. So syringes can actually be dropped into there, and they're disposed of also. The medication is disposed of by a DEA, Drug Enforcement Administration contract, so it's no cost to the city, and also we also destroy the syringes at no cost. Since the program has been implemented, we've destroyed over 900 pounds of medication. We currently are accepting approximately 100 to 150 pounds of medication per quarter.
I was in the OPD a couple of weeks ago, and I inquired about this. Thank you. We appreciate you implementing this program, and I understood that it is frequently used.
Yes, ma'am, it is. It's, you know, I want to just make sure that we note our partnerships here. Our partnership with the blue and the white box is from Rite Aid. It was provided at no cost to this community through a grant application. It was installed by our Public Works. They're secured to the ground. They're right essentially in back of that is people that are staffing the police department 24 hours a day, so it is a secure location, so we don't have to worry about that. The red one is provided by CVS. It was also provided through a grant application at no cost. It's out there secure too. The black one is provided by the Butte County, what was it? The Public Works. It was through their Cal Recycle program. And we have a kind of a unique partnership with this one. What we're doing with the syringes on this is we are actually disposing of them with the Oroville Hospital. They are taking them, placing them into their sharps containers and disposing of them for us at no cost. So this is a collaboration and a partnership through many people. The boxes have collected approximately, 950 pounds of medication over the last year, and we don't have a count on the syringes. That one just got installed. So these are very valuable things. We encourage everybody to use these. I mean, that's almost 1,000 pounds of medication that would have either ended up in somebody's hands inappropriately, or it would have been flushed down the drain into the sewer system. So these are very important things that, you know, we encourage everyone to use. It's 24/7. It's lit. It should be safe. So we really encourage everybody to bring their medications there and dispose of them properly so they do end up in the right place.
I recently used those boxes. I cleaned out my medicine cabinet. One of the confusions that I had is across the counter medication to go in the other with the other medication, or does it go into the other box? You can put anything in there, any medications, whether it's from a health store, it's from you know, Flintstone chewables. If that's how you choose to get rid of them, that would be the appropriate way to dispose of them.
Thank you. Very informative. I appreciate that.
Thank you, Council.
Moving on to our public communication, non-agenda items. John Miller George.
Good evening. I was thrilled to listen to the police presentation. It reminded me of a couple of things. In Santa Fe, the police hand out basically jobs. People can go and clean the park. They get enough money to eat. And they hand out something similar to this. How? I'm not sure how to pronounce it. Anyway,
Haven
I
of
wanted
Hope.
to say that, am I close enough to the mic?
Thank you.
This is good news. I want to move on to the other things that I was thinking about before I heard that. A few council meetings ago, outside the chambers, I was walking in. the council was praising some neighborhood watch people, and I had somebody kind of get rude about me and my medicine. He even thought I was lying about giving it to my father. And I got really angry until I realized he needed it more than I do. He and his wife were both in far worse shape than me. And I thought, well, the CBD strengthens your bones. He needed it more than me. Want to move on to, I've been working on some ideas to bring in money. And the thing about money is tax is not more money. Tax is a percentage of the money, but it just means that whoever's applying the tax gets to spend it instead of the person that had it. So most people don't mind paying more taxes if they make more money. And so what we need is to bring in new industries and businesses to, and I'm pretty sure that's not headline news, but I have started, and I think I have some ideas, and I need some information from the city. And I spoke with the Joanna is her name? Joanna. About how to do that. And so I'm going to be asking, writing and asking for information about city finances, especially the electric bill. I'm trying to set a big goal that everybody could get excited for. I'd like to pay off Oroville's debt in 5 years. So if you guys are in debt $73 million, I'd like to raise $73 million for the city of Oroville in 5 years. Sorry.
Thank you.
More to come.
Jackie Glover.
Good evening, Jackie Glover. Good evening, Madam Vice Mayor and Council. I have postcards that I don't know if were distributed to you yet, but we have a event on Thursday. I'm here on behalf of the YMCA. I guess I should start with that. Our re-grand opening is on Thursday. It's from 4 to 8. We are giving tours. We're gonna have a ribbon cutting at 6 o'clock. There'll be some food and beverages, and we would, I'm here to personally invite all of you to stop in, see the renovations that we've been doing and the good things that we're doing in the community at the YMCA on Thursday, the 17th, between 4 and 8 o'clock.
Thank you. Rob Martell.
Good evening, Council. I'm here representing new business Harbor Freight Tools that is open on the corner down here, and also my company, FB Contracting. Speaking on behalf of my client, Harbor Freight Tools, they are pleased to announce that they were able to open their doors this morning, their soft opening. They're excited to be in business here in Oroville and to be able to provide some additional local jobs. They will be having their grand opening May 23rd at 8 a.m. and would like to welcome the council and the community, and I'm sure that they will be contacting the city in regards to their grand opening. Speaking as a contractor, I'm a little nervous because I don't usually do this, but my experience in this community has compelled me to. I can tell you that your building department operates on another level than other building departments. I've worked in just under 25 of the states in this country. Mm-hmm. And I had a completely different experience here than I've had just about anywhere else. I can tell you that they operate very efficiently. I can also tell you that I'd like to point out Chief Building Official Gary Lehman, because I have dealt with thousands of building officials and inspectors across the country. And I found him to be just about more knowledgeable than anybody I've run into, which was a real pleasure. He's stern but fair. He wants it right, and he's going to get it right, but not at the cost of just stopping progress. So we just want to, FP Contracting wants to thank the city for their hospitality while we are here. And that's about all I have. So,
Thank you.
thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Lehman. Pastor Bill Spear.
City Council, you know, I love our city, and as I come here and you know, you listen to, you know, what's going on, people are working.
Could you please speak into the mic? Thank you.
Yes. People are working longer hours with less resources and doing a great job for our city, and I appreciate what all the public servants do, the police working harder with less resources, the people of the city, and I want to continue to do whatever I can to encourage and strengthen. And so that's why I continue to come here and pray, because I believe that prayer changes things. So Father, I thank you for our city council and for the members that are your servants, Lord, for our police and all the community action groups. We thank you for the new program for the homeless. For you love the homeless. Your word says, what we've done to the least of these, we've done unto you. And Father, we just pray tonight for wisdom for our city council as we navigate through these times of lean, that you would give us provision. You said when we pray to pray for our daily bread, and so we pray that you would continue to give us wisdom to guide our steps, to bless our city despite all of the obstacles. We trust you. We pray that you would continue to bring businesses. Thank you for Harbor Freight and the testimony tonight of this new business to Oroville. Continue to bless Oroville as the county seat. Continue to bless Oroville and the work that's going up at the dam, and all the workers that come there. And Father, the recreation for our river, we pray, Lord, your blessings, your abundance, your kingdom come, your will be done. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Thank you.
Thank you. Lorraine Christensen.
Thank you. I'm Lorraine Christensen. Thank you, Council. I believe it was in March, you had your first budget meeting, and we weren't able to attend. We were working, but we had customers after the meeting come into our shop and tell us we'd find it very interesting and that we should try to watch it on video, which we did. Fortunately, Terry Tata from Oroville News Only had it posted, so we were able to see what all you folks said during that meeting. It was quite interesting.
Good.
And we found the budget part of the meeting interesting also, besides your other comments. So I tried to look that meeting up on your website, the City of Oroville website, and when I finally got to where you had your videos, nothing was dated, nothing was marked. So I thought, okay, I'll go to City Hall and ask them. And there was a very nice young lady in the office. And she said, oh, well, here, look, it's all, this is how you do it. And I said, well, I did that, I did that, I did that. And when she got to the page, she says, oh my gosh, this hasn't been updated. And she couldn't do anything with it. So the next day, I looked on the website again, and it was a day or two, but somebody had gone in and put dates and identified the videos you did have up. But I could not find the next video, which was for May 25th, which we were out of town and couldn't attend. And so I contacted Terry Tata to ask her if that was videoed, and she said she wasn't here to video it, and she didn't think the city videotaped it. So I went to your email on the side where it says contact us, and I put all my information in. I wrote my thing, thanking you for putting the dates up, whoever did that, and telling you I was looking for this video for the second budget meeting. And I get to the end and I try to submit it, it won't submit, but I do get up this thing which I took a picture of, error for site owner, invalid domain key, and you cannot send anything on your city website. So I know the grand jury report came out and told the city their website was not up to snuff. All the council members' emails were incorrect, or some of them were. And now I'm telling you, you cannot send the city an email. And I don't know if you don't video all your budget meetings, but I feel like if you're going to talk about private citizens in those meetings and discuss them, that they should have the ability at every meeting that you do that in to have a video that they can go see what was said. So thank you.
Thank you.
Not at all. That's why I printed that.
That's the first I've heard that has not worked with, so I will look.
Could you introduce yourself, please?
Sorry. Tyson Party, I'm the IT manager, so I do all the website. So, thank you.
Thank you, Tyson. Our last non-agenda comment is from Carol Anderson.
My name's Carol Anderson, and I just wanted to just take a couple of moments of your time to bring you up to speed on some of the work that we're doing in Centennial Park. I think we finally finished our plantings, and we've got a number of native plants in there to support native pollinators. And milkweed is, we put in quite a bit of milkweed. This is the only plant that the monarch butterfly can use as its source of food. Monarch butterflies, if you're not familiar with them. And so we're hoping that the milkweed thrives. Your people have been very, very helpful in terms of getting the drip line working again. And so we hopefully this year our plantings will survive with enough water. So the plants need water, but every time I walk up there or work up there, somebody comes by and says, "When is the drinking fountain going to work?" And I said, I will go to the city council tonight and find out what we could do to make the drinking fountain work. So I'm asking you for direction. How do I put those wheels in motion? Because it gets really hot up there in the summer, and all the workers would love to have the drinking fountain working. If that one can't be repaired because the parts are too expensive, maybe we could have a less expensive version that's just really basic service for us. Anyway, I wanted to voice my support and appreciate all that you did in your support for Haven of Hope on Wheels. I think it's a grand idea. And in talking to homeless, I've occasionally had somebody tell me, how can I get a job? I can't go to an interview. I don't have an address to put on an application. And so anyway, and I appreciate all the police do with very little financial support. Thank you.
Thank you, Carol.
So tell me,
I believe that the city staff has, it's been duly noted. Thank you. Moving on to the consent calendar, we have 4 items. Are there any council members that would like to pull an item? We do have public comment on item 6.1, item 6.4.
Madam Vice Mayor, if that's the case, I'm sorry, Scott Huber, if you have public comment on 6.1 and 6.4, then those should be pulled from the consent calendar.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear that.
If you have public comment cards on item 6.1 and 6.4,
yes,
then those should be pulled from the consent calendar. Sorry, and dealt with after the balance of the consent is approved.
All right. I'm looking for a
Move that
Motion.
we approve the consent calendar as items 6.1 and 6.4 pulled.
I'll second that. Okay.
The motion carries.
Thank you. Item 6.1 has been pulled. First speaker is Pastor Bill Spear.
Thank you, City Council. I was going over the minutes, and I know I've complained a few times saying the minutes weren't accurate, that they were biased. And as I was going over the minutes from our last meeting, on item 8.2, the tree ordinance, it has 5 speakers listed, and I'm pretty sure that I was the first speaker. And for some reason, I didn't even get listed. And, you know, it seems like a lot of times when I'm speaking, you know, no one even acknowledges that I'm here, but I am here, and I do care about the tree ordinance. And my points that I spoke about the tree ordinance was overreach, and that it should make it easier for contractors to work with the city instead of making it harder. I've recently, yesterday, was doing a job for Harbor Freight. Rob, who called me, said what a good job I did tonight. He was real happy with the service I provided. But during the job, the city arborist showed up. I'm arborist WC 1078, and that's the West Coast. That's 6 states. I was the 1078th arborist out of 6 states. Been an arborist for a long time. I know I'm a licensed contractor. I know how to do my job. The information that I brought to the city was to help limit the liability of the city, to help get more work done with less effort, to help empower people to work together. And, you know, considering that I've already complained before about, you know, the bias, it seemed not very good that I wasn't even listed and my comments weren't even listed. But yesterday, the city came out and made me stop doing my job, saying that I wasn't doing it right. They listed this landscape agreement contract as the reason why that I had to stop. And so as I looked over this, I was able to complete my job. But as I looked over this on item 6, it says, city may maintain landscape. Property owner agrees that if they fail to meet the standard of maintenance necessary to keep the landscape in a healthy condition, city will be given written notice of the deficiency to the property owner, whom shall have 20 days to make necessary correction. And if the correction is not made within 20 days, city may elect to take steps necessary to assure that the landscape maintenance is cared for. To do this, city shall serve a notice of property owner to the intent of to enter the premises for this purpose. City shall either personally serve the notice upon the property owner or mail a copy by certified mail to the property owner, last known address as shown on the tax rolls, at least 15 days in advance of the day in intent to enter the premises. This did not happen.
Two comments. One is the time's up, obviously, but this is not relevant to the minute issue. We certainly understand his concern regarding not being listed in the minutes, and the minutes should be amended to reflect that.
Thank you. The next item that was pulled was 6.4. Once again, Pastor Bill Spear, would you like to come back up?
That would be the PG&E thing. Thank you. So, you know, us being in our financial situation that we are, and as we go through the city council meetings of navigating forward, a few times I've said we need to do less and do it better. Deregulate instead of having more regulations. As for the thing with PG&E, that's going to disrupt downtown, the businesses that are right across the street. I was looking at a business about buying a business that was there, but I knew that PG&E was going to be tearing up that parking lot. There's not going to be no parking lot for all those businesses that are there. As we navigate forward, we need to spend less time on menial stuff, get working together, and concentrate on stuff like this. The first time this came to the city council, when PG&E made their presentation, I couldn't believe that nobody even commented. Nobody made even none of the public spoke, and nobody in the city council made any statements. That's going to be devastating this summer for the businesses that are right across the street. And you would think that somebody would concentrate more on this incident here. PG&E is the one that is at fault because of bad practices in the past, and somebody should be interceding for the business owners of making sure that this contract with PG&E compensates for the loss of businesses or the business owners that are downtown. This item is before the city council tonight, and I think it needs to be noted. I think it needs to be looked into more before you proceed any farther on making any kind of deal with PG&E that the city intercedes for all the businesses lost. It's going to be lost revenue for it's going to be lost revenue for the businesses that are there. And sure, it's going to be nice to have some plug-ins for the electric cars, but how many electric cars are there in Oroville for the long future? It might work out good, but for this summer, that whole line of businesses are going to suffer badly. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Moving on to public hearings, which there are none.
You'd have to have a vote on.
Yeah, I was gonna say that there still needs to be a vote on 6.4.
My apology.
And
6.1 and 6.4.
Yeah.
Looking for a
As
motion.
far as 6.4 is, are we voting on 6.1? Okay.
No, if you have a comment that you'd like to address 6.4.
One, I haven't seen the ratio of trees that PG&E is going to. Hold on. Okay. I haven't seen. There, it's on. Okay. I haven't seen the ratio of trees that PG&E is going to plant, and I don't know what size those trees are going to be. And also, there are new charging stations that only take a half hour. I want to make sure that the new stations go in and not the old ones that take up to 8 hours to recharge.
PG&E is going to be removing trees on I believe that's going to be the northwest corner of the parking lot. There's several large growth, look like some sort of pine tree or something like that that's out there. There's also other ones that are causing lifting of the sidewalk that'll be removed as well. Mm-hmm. They're going to put it back in the conditions similar to that. My understanding is they're going to be putting in mid-sized trees. They're not going to be the ones that essentially look like a stick that you get for your home. They're going to be bigger than that, larger sized pots. They'll be remediating that. This is a remediation process, a cleanup of the parking lot that needs to be done. There will be 30 parking spots that are left available to the public on the east side of the parking lot, will be accessed off of Myers Street, just off of Montgomery. So there will be parking down there. The charging stations, just so everybody is clear, this is a separate project from the cleanup. We are doing these separately. PG&E is going to be allowing us to have those installed at the same time while the parking lot is dug up and they're removing the contaminated soil, but it is a separate project. The monies for that are coming from the access agreement to access the parking lot to remove the contaminated soil, along with a $6,000 grant that PG&E is going to work with us to obtain through that department. So that will be done as well. Also, while the parking lot is dug up, there is a drain pipe that goes underneath there that needs realignment. It's misaligned. So while the parking lot's dug up, we'll also be realigning that pipe. So this is essential work that needs to be done in this parking lot. And any dollars that are left from that project will be used to make this parking lot, spruce it up, freshen it up, so it looks better for our community and is a better looking parking lot than it currently is. This has been vetted with many community groups at many public meetings. We've talked about this in the council chambers numerous times about the trees that are going to be removed. This was mainly just to make sure that you're aware that we are removing some trees down there. There's going to be a large project, a lot of dirt coming in and out of there. The dirt will be transported down Montgomery Street to Highway 70 and then to a proper disposal location for that contaminated soil, and fresh, clean soils will be brought in. PG&E will then recap the parking lot with asphalt, slurry coat the entire parking lot, and then restripe it. So this should be a really attractive parking lot by the time that we're finished with this project.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chief. And you're absolutely correct. This has been brought forth in the presence of the city numerable times. I'm glad that this project is finally going to come into fruition. Thank you.
Two comments. Two comments very quickly. One is that if you do move to approve the minutes, move them as amended, so you can add the speaker.
Yeah.
And the other is if you move to approve item 6.4, can you make sure you approve resolution number 8698?
Okay.
8698. I'm looking for, are there any other comments from the dais? I'm looking for a motion for item 6.1.
All right, I move that we approve the meeting minutes for the April 11th special meeting, April 17th, 2018 regular meeting, and the April 25th, 2018 special meeting, and the May 1st, 2018 regular meeting, and with the addition of Bill Spear, who spoke at the meeting on, what was that date?
I believe that was the May 1st meeting.
May 1st.
May 1st.
Okay.
Thank you.
Is there a second? Okay.
A second.
Okay.
I thought you had seconded.
I did.
She did. Marlene seconded that.
That motion carries.
I'm looking for a motion for item 6.4.
So moved with resolution 8690.
98.
98, 8698.
I'll second that.
And that motion also passes.
Thank you. There are no public hearings. Moving on to regular business. 8.1 net neutrality pledge. We do have a public speaker prior to. Are there any comments on the dais? And Chief, do you have a presentation?
This is just a item that was brought to staff. The mayor's requested to support this initiative. This is and supports net neutrality. What net neutrality is that it does not allow large providers to restrict the upload or downloadability of different companies on the internet. An example would be a company that supported Netflix as opposed to Hulu. What they would do is a company would restrict Hulu's ability to download and increase Netflix's, so they thus promoted it. It would bring it down. You'd be able to download and upload to it faster. So this is just symbolic. This is something we want to say that let the government, the federal government, know that we don't believe that there should be any restrictions on the internet. It should be free access for all.
Thank you. Are there any other comments? Public comment, Lorraine Christensen.
I'm Lorraine Christensen. Thank you. I was listening to the police report tonight in the presentation, and when the officer said safe neighborhoods, that title was a complete farce because that bill did everything except make the neighborhood safe. And I feel that way about this net neutrality. It is not net neutrality. It's a great sounding word, but it's a government takeover of government putting more regulations on the internet. And I noticed in the presentation that was in your staff report that it had all the trigger words: throttle, blocking, gatekeeper. I studied this for a couple weeks, and I've known about this for years, but this is what the FCC chairman, Brandon Carr, said. After 2 years, after a 2-year detour, one that has seen investment decline, broadband deployments put on hold, and investment in new offerings evaporate, it's great to see the FCC return to that proven regulatory approach. Carr said that it's good to see it open to the open internet. It was before the 2015 rules put on it under the Obama administration. So all it's done is lifted those rules, and it is open and fair. And this is such a far left thing. This mayor's thing is promoted by Mayor de Blasio, backed by MoveOn.org, and I was shocked to see it come before our city council, and I am totally opposed to it.
Thank you. Are there any comments from the dais? I'm looking for a motion.
I'll make a motion. And obviously, I am for net neutrality, and I feel like it's really an important thing. And even though this is just symbolic, I think it's important that we take a stand for it, and that we authorize the mayor to sign the pledge to support net neutrality. Okay.
A second.
And that motion passes 4 ayes and 1 no.
Moving on to item 8.2. Hello.
Hello, Madam Vice Mayor, members of council. Mike Massaro, Contract City Engineer. The item before you is a council resolution required by the California Transportation Commission for the city to do on an annual basis to state how we're going to allocate the additional money we're getting from SB1. As you know, we get monies from highway users tax to fund local roads and streets for rehab, and we have additional money coming to us through SB1, and they're going to be asking us to do this annually. We did one when they first rolled it out last year, and so this is our council resolution for this year, and we'll see it again next year. If there's any questions.
Are there any questions from the dais? There is no public comment.
I have a question, I'm sorry.
All right.
Under the fiscal impact, I'm looking at this, says no immediate impact to the city's general fund. So tell me what that means.
Well, I guess what it means is we already have an allocation for this fiscal year, and we have an allocation for the next fiscal year, and every fiscal year for the next 10 years under this, and so it's automatically allocated to us through the RMRA. So it doesn't really change our budgets. It's the money we get, but with the additional requirements of the CTC for this SB1 money, they're asking us to provide a list every year and upload it to their website. And
but I think the
provide a council
specific question
resolution.
is no immediate impact, and I think the answer is no impact.
Yeah.
Okay, that's
Yeah.
what I wanted.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Jack, do you have one? No, you're good. All right, I'm looking for a motion.
Move we adopt resolution 8697.
Second.
Thank you, Mike.
Thank you.
That motion passes unanimously.
Moving on to 8.3, renew subscription for Microsoft Office 365 services. We're going to have a presentation or a report from Tyson.
So because this is just a change in who we're paying, I did not bring a presentation today. But some things have changed. The company that we were using to do our Office 365 subscription through is no longer doing government subscriptions. So I've had to find another company to do it. And as well as Microsoft has also modified some of their prices, so the price has gone up a little bit. So it was over the budgetary number, and so I'm just looking for an approval to spend a couple thousand more than what was budgeted.
Just curious, who is the county
35
partnering with?
I'm sorry.
For Office 365,
Mm-hmm.
they actually, I was actually in talks with them. I think they had contacted the same company I was working with, and so this had come to my attention very recently, and so our subscription, we only have another 20 to 30 days before our subscription will end, and so it was kind of a quick, had to find the information. So I haven't gone back and talked with them, but I was actually working with them on helping them come up with a company for their Office 365 subscription.
All right.
This is going to cost us another $3,500. You said a couple thousand. It looks like $3,500 to me. And where does that money come from? Do we have it in the budget?
Well, on that report there, we had budgeted $13,000, and so it is a $3,000. Sorry,
Yeah.
get to that page here.
$2,755.
Right.
And 52 cents.
So that's over what we had budgeted for, but it is the $3,462 over what. So the subscription is based off of how many licenses. So each year I can add or subtract based off of how many employees are using the product, and so that's why there was that 13,000 mark, and we kind of fluctuate depending on the year and how many employees. Right now we've got quite a few subscriptions out there, and with our current subscription I can't reduce the cost or reduce the licenses, so this is what the new price would be.
Okay. So we've budgeted $13,000. So we're going to be over budget about $3,400.
Well, the $2,755 and 52 cents.
$2,755. Okay.
Yes.
And I would emphasize this based on bidding it out. I don't know if you got to see that, but there are 3 separate bids, and this is the low bid.
Okay.
So just curious, because we know that there's going to come a time when we're going to get back to a healthy city staff approximately 150. Right now, we're at 97 employees.
Correct.
What's the increase in that? Because you're saying that it's based on
Yes.
subscriptions
So-
and employees.
Okay, so
And
if you look
licensing.
on, let's just take the Planet Technologies, which they were the lowest bid. So depending on the plan, so each plan is a little different. So someone like a courtyard worker who does not need licensing for Microsoft Word and those kinds of things, they would use what's considered a kiosk license. That kiosk license is $1.76 per user per month for that user. So multiply that by 12 and that would be their yearly cost. So,
Right.
but someone who's working, say, in City Hall or administration at the police department, they're going to use everything. It's an all-inclusive. We get our Microsoft Office licensing, so Word, Excel, PowerPoint, Outlook. So that plan is $17.60 per user per month.
Okay.
But that includes a bundle of applications that we can utilize.
Question I have. It says that you're gonna need the $2,755.52. So is that coming out of, do you have that money in your budget, or does that have to come out of the general fund? Where's that money coming from?
It's a general fund out of the budget, but there's other items I have not utilized this year, so it actually fits within my total budget.
Well, that's what I'm wondering. Are we gonna have to move money or move it into your account out of the general? That's what I'm trying to figure out here. 'Cause when it says you're gonna need an additional, well, that tells me you don't have the money in your budget. That's what that says to me.
Right.
But, and since there's nothing listed down here, a funding source, and I've talked about this before, if you're gonna spend money, I wanna know where it's coming from. And on staff reports, I like to see, you tell me what account it's coming out of and how we're getting there. That's something I like to see, because that way I'm not wasting your time and mine, asking you this question.
Right.
So
sorry.
So I'm going to piggyback off of what you just said because I need clarity. So it's my understanding that each department they can spend up to $10,000 without coming to council, right?
I believe that's correct.
And so
with this one,
the IT budget has approximately how much, and are they lacking the difference? And this is why you're coming to us.
So the reason I'm bringing this forward is just because of the total dollar amount. There's room within my total budget for this to be in there and not exceed my budget. But because of this particular thing being, over 10,000, I wanted to bring it back and make sure that you guys were seeing this as well.
All right. Ruth, is there anything you have to say? Okay.
Responding to Councilmember Hatley, I do agree. I think that there ought to be a supplemental form that talks about how much is budgeted and what fund is coming from, and it's pretty standard form, so we'll work to develop that.
Thank you.
That's great.
All right. Are there any other comments or questions? All right. Thank you, Tyson.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Okay.
I'm looking for a motion.
Well, I move that we authorize the Microsoft Office 365 renewal from Planet Technologies and approve the IT budget increase in the amount of $2,755.52 to cover the increased subscription cost.
Second.
And that motion passes unanimously.
Thank you.
Madam Vice Mayor, can I ask Tyson a question prior to he leaves? Tyson, does any of this money come from the Internet Technology Cost Recovery Fund?
For this specific one, I don't think so. It's all budgeted through the general fund.
Okay, could it come from that fund?
I believe so, because it does fit all departments.
Okay. I'd like
Scott, you're nodding your head.
Do you know the balance?
Again, I'm thinking just on the fly here, but my memory of what qualifies for this, I think this would fit.
So my suggestion is, and I think that's what the chief's headed at, is that we approve this acquisition, but certainly if we can move it out of the general fund into another fund, we will do so.
Absolutely. All right.
There was a concerned citizen that came up to me and reminded me of that. So thank you, Sherry.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. That ends regular business. Moving on to council announcements and committee reports. Councilwoman Draper.
Okay, on Thursday, May 3rd, I attended the Water Advisory Committee meeting, and then Thursday, May 10th, the Housing Loan Advisory Committee meeting, and also the groundbreaking for the Riverbend Park. So those of us who were there got to get a shovel and actually do some digging, and it was exciting to be a part of that. Saturday, May 12th, I was in the Feather Fiesta Days parade along with several of everyone else here, and we all bought bags of candy. I bought 8 bags thinking I was covered, and sadly I was not. And I thought I was being fairly careful too with how I distributed it, but I wasn't. So we ran out halfway through the parade route. So next year I'm buying 20 bags of candy so that I don't feel badly when I get to the end and don't have any left. Monday, May 14th, I attended the Butte County Homeless Continuum of Care Committee meeting. And one of the exciting things that I learned there is that starting this January, when they do that PIT report, it's going to be with a mobile application on the phone. And so the information that they enter as they interview people will automatically go into the system instead of having to be written down on papers and then having someone have to enter all the information off the papers, which is time consuming and leaves possibility for error. So that's a really neat new development there. Okay.
Any other council reports?
No, and that was one side of the street. She was doing one side of the street and I was doing the other side of the street, and we both ran out of candy halfway through the parade.
We'll do better next year.
We'll do it better.
We would have loaned you some. And I had the opportunity to attend the 52nd Annual Achievement Awards. There were 96 students that received those very high, the top 10 achievement awards. Very proud of our Oroville youth. And I was also in attendance at the Feather Fiesta Day Parade. And Art, do you still have candy for next year? Also, I was able to attend the luncheon for the Haven of Hope. And I guess I cheated. This was my second opportunity to view the presentation. And I always seem to learn more, very enlightening. Thank you, what's going on in our community, helping the homeless. This is a situation, it's actually an epidemic. It's something that is past managing. And so we have to embrace this culture and collaborate efforts to do what we can. So thank you once again. I had the opportunity to attend a luncheon at Sierra Pacific Industries last Tuesday. The company was named the VPP site, which stands for Voluntary Protection Program. The sawmill, located off of 5th in Oroville, is the very first sawmill to achieve this honor. It took them 2 years, and it was awarded by Cal OSHA representatives from the Redding and Anderson area. Is there anyone else? City Administrator and Administration reports.
Well, I would say that the chief and I have met several times with Oroville Hospital, both on their expansion and their desire to help the city with some of its fiscal issues, which the chief is pursuing. So also to help with some of the city's fiscal issues in a significant but not a way that would alleviate the issue, but something that would definitely help.
And is this something that we will be
We will follow up on, it'll probably be several months before it comes to fruition.
All right, thank you. Does that end your administrative report?
It did.
If I could.
Assistant Administrator?
Madam Vice Mayor, last week we had the opportunity to attend the groundbreaking for the reconstruction of Riverbend Park. I'd like to remind the community that it is off limits right now while they're doing that. There's a lot of work going on out there, a lot of large equipment, and also exposed wires, pipes, things like that. So, but it was a nice ceremony. I got to see all the council using, or a large portion of the council using golden shovels to dig. They asked me if I wanted to. I told them I'm not set up to do manual labor. That's why I do what I do. So I passed on that. Also, over the last couple weeks, I've had some questions from individuals regarding the flooring at the municipal auditorium. The floor is currently being put out to bid right now for to have it refinished, sanding, and then resealed. That money that is paying for that project comes from the housing department. It is grant monies that can only be used for that type of a project. So it's not general fund dollars, it's just grant fund dollars. And then the last thing is I'd like to remind the council and the community that on the 19th from 8 in the morning until 2 in the afternoon, there'll be a fly-in at the Oroville Airport. Many of our local pilots and community members are putting on a really nice event out there, and like to have as many folks as possible come out and enjoy that, see the planes, and there'll be some vintage military vehicles and other things out there. So it'll be a good day. It's 19th again from 8 in the morning until 2 in the afternoon.
Thank you. Ruth, do you have anything to report?
Yes, I'd like to remind council that on May 22nd, we will be having our final series, budget meeting. And I'm
3 to 5.
Got something great planned for you. I want to do things a little backwards this year. So we're going to start with the forecast. Instead of concentrating on the current year, we're going to go ahead and look out 30 years if you want. We're going to see what's going to happen with the PERS unfunded liability if nothing else happens in between. So we'll start with the forecast and then we'll get down to the preliminary budget.
And a reminder that we have a closed session in front of that.
Yes.
And we also have a closed session at the end of that so that you have the budget to think about as we talk about negotiations.
All right, thank you.
Madam Vice Mayor, if I could just jump back in one more time, Bill Legrone. I didn't like the fact that everybody else was going to get the last word, so I saved one thing. In all seriousness, there is going to be a community meeting at the 24th at the Municipal Auditorium regarding cannabis. There'll be one in the morning from 9 a.m. until noon, and then there'll be another one in that same evening from 6 p.m. until 9 p.m. It's an opportunity for people to learn about Cannabis 101, what is the industry, what does it look like, what's going on with it, but it'll also provide them an opportunity to ask questions and provide input. Pardon me?
Where's it going to be?
It's going to be at the Municipal Auditorium, 1200 Myers Street, and it'll be on the 24th of May, again at 9 in the morning to noon, and then again that evening from 6 p.m. until 9 p.m.
Thank you. City Attorney Scott Huber, no reports?
Nothing. Although I have to say something so that I'm last, right? Because Bill wanted to be
Actually, our building inspector is last. Saving the best for last. Nothing to report?
I'll leave it to Chief.
All right. If there's nothing else, this meeting is adjourned until the next meeting, which is on May 22nd, a special meeting at 3 p.m.
If she'd asked me
2 p.m., yes. Thank you. I touched you because Tom had said, see cease and desist in that comment, Haven of Hope.